Get out of my way! The roar echoed through Terminal C of Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, silencing conversations and stopping travelers mid-step. Major General Richard Kensington stood at the security checkpoint, his four-star insignia gleaming under the fluorescent lights, his face crimson with rage. Before him, an elderly man in a faded gray janitor's uniform slowly pushed a cleaning cart, oblivious to the chaos erupting behind him. "Sir, please, he's just doing his job," a young TSA officer stammered, stepping between them. "His job?" Kensington's voice dripped with contempt. "His job is to be invisible. This terminal should have been cleared 15 minutes ago for my delegation. I have members of the Joint Chiefs waiting, and this nobody is mopping floors like we have all day." The janitor, perhaps 70 years old with silver hair and deep lines carved into his weathered face, didn't look up. His hands, scarred and calloused, continued their methodical work across the tile. His name tag read simply, Frank. The uniform hung loose on his thin frame, the fabric worn thin at the elbows. "Excuse me," Kensington snapped, stepping closer. "Did you hear me? I said move." Frank straightened slowly, his movements careful, deliberate. When he finally met the general's eyes, there was no defiance there, only a quiet weariness that seemed to run bone deep. "General, sir," Frank said softly, his voice gravelly with age. "I'll be finished in just a moment. There was a spill near Gate 42. Safety hazard." "A safety hazard?" Kensington laughed, the sound harsh and cruel. Several airport staff members had gathered now, watching the confrontation unfold. A few pulled out phones. "The only hazard here is you being in my way." "How long have you worked here? Who's your supervisor?" 12 years, sir. My supervisor is 12 years of pushing a mop." Kensington shook his head, his expression one of pure disgust. "Let me guess. You couldn't hack it in the real world? Never served? Never contributed anything meaningful to this country?" The words hung in the air like a slap. Frank's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly, but he said nothing. "That's what I thought," Kensington continued, warming to his theme. His entourage, 3 lieutenant colonels and a handful of aides, stood behind him, some looking uncomfortable, others nodding in agreement. "You know what the difference is between you and me? Purpose. Sacrifice. Service. I've dedicated my entire life to protecting people like you, who contribute nothing but take up space." "Richard, maybe we should just—" one of the lieutenant colonels began. "No." Kensington cut him off with a sharp gesture. "This is exactly what's wrong with America. No respect for authority, no understanding of hierarchy. This man sees a general of the United States Armed Forces and doesn't even have the decency to step aside." Frank had gone very still. His hands rested on the handle of his cart, knuckles white. Airport security had arrived now, 2 officers flanking the scene, unsure how to proceed when a high-ranking military official was involved. "Sir, if you just let us escort you to the VIP lounge," one security officer attempted. "I'm not going anywhere until I get an answer." Kensington stepped closer to Frank, invading his space. "Did you serve? Even one day? Or have you spent your entire miserable existence cleaning up after better men?" The elderly janitor's eyes dropped to the floor. When he spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. "I served, sir." "What?" Kensington cupped his ear mockingly. "Speak up. I didn't catch that." "I said I served." Frank's voice was stronger now, but still respectful, still measured. "Oh, you served." Kensington's smile was vicious. "Let me guess. You sat behind a desk somewhere, pushed papers, maybe guarded a supply depot in peacetime. That's not service. That's hiding." A master sergeant standing near the coffee shop had stopped mid-sip, his eyes fixed on Frank with an intensity that bordered on recognition. Something about the old man's posture, the way he held himself despite the hunched shoulders and worn uniform. "Where did you serve?" Kensington demanded. "What was your MOS? Actually, forget it. It doesn't matter. You're here now, aren't you? Mopping floors at 70-something years old. That tells me everything I need to know about your so-called service." "General Kensington." A new voice cut through the tension. Colonel Patricia Hayes from the Air Force Office of Special Investigations had just arrived at the checkpoint, her expression carefully neutral. "Sir, we're running behind schedule." "I'm aware, Colonel." Kensington didn't take his eyes off Frank. "I'm just having a conversation with this gentleman about the meaning of service. You know what? I'm curious now. Really curious." He turned to address the growing crowd of onlookers. "This man claims he served. Let's find out what that means, shall we?" He turned back to Frank, his voice loaded with sarcasm. "What was your call sign? You did have a call sign, didn't you? Or were you too insignificant to rate one?" The question hung in the air. Call signs were sacred in the military, earned through blood, sweat, and actions that defined a soldier's career. They were never given lightly, never forgotten. Frank's entire body had gone rigid. His eyes, which had been downcast, slowly lifted to meet Kensington's. For the first time, there was something behind that weary gaze, something cold and ancient and absolutely terrifying. "My call sign?" Frank repeated quietly. "Yes, your call sign." Kensington was grinning now, certain he'd caught the old man in a lie. "Unless you made it all up. Unless you were actually a cook or a clerk who wants to pretend he was something more." The master sergeant near the coffee shop had gone pale. He was moving now, pushing through the crowd, his coffee forgotten and dripping on the floor. Frank drew in a slow breath. When he spoke, his voice carried across the terminal with unexpected authority, the voice of a man who had once commanded life-and-death situations. "Iron Raven." The two words fell like a bomb. The master sergeant froze mid-step, his face draining of all color. "Oh my God," he whispered. Colonel Hayes's tablet slipped from her fingers and clattered to the floor. Her hand flew to her mouth. Kensington frowned, confused by the sudden shift in atmosphere. "Iron Raven? What kind of—" "Sir!" The master sergeant's voice cracked. "Sir, step away from him, right now." "Excuse me?" Kensington turned, his authority challenged. "Sergeant, you need to—" "I said step away from him!" The master sergeant was shouting now, his face twisted with something between horror and reverence. "That's— Jesus Christ, that's Iron Raven! The Iron Raven!" The terminal had gone completely silent. Even the ambient noise of CNN playing on the monitors seemed muted. Travelers stood frozen, phones out, capturing every second. Kensington looked around, bewildered. Would someone please explain what the hell is going on? Colonel Hayes had retrieved her tablet with shaking hands. Her fingers flew across the screen, entering credentials, accessing databases that required 3 separate security clearances. Her face went from pale to ashen. "General Kensington," she said, her voice barely steady. "Sir, you need to see this." She turned the tablet around. On the screen was a personnel file marked with more classification stamps than Kensington had ever seen on a single document. Top secret, SCI, no foreign, Umbra. The header read, Operation Iron Raven, eyes only. Presidential authorization required. Below it, a photograph from 1971. A young man, lean and hard, his face smeared with camouflage paint, holding a modified Car 15. The eyes in that photograph were the same eyes looking at Kensington now. Older, wearier, but unmistakable. Captain Frank Morrison, 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta. Call sign, Iron Raven. Kensington's hands trembled as he scrolled through the file. Each page was worse than the last. Operation Fallen Angel, Cambodia, 1971. Single-handedly extracted 18 POWs from a North Vietnamese prison camp after his entire team was killed in the insertion. Casualties inflicted on enemy forces, estimated 140. Status of Captain Morrison, MIA, presumed KIA for 3 months until he walked across the Thai border carrying 2 wounded soldiers. Operation Nightshade, Laos, 1972. Prevented a Soviet tactical nuclear device from being delivered to Pathet Lao forces. Went in alone after intelligence networks were compromised. Soviet casualties, 34. Device secured. Morrison wounded 7 times, refused medical evacuation until package was confirmed safe. Operation Dark Winter, East Germany, 1985, classified. Summary: asset extraction under extreme duress. Morrison operated behind enemy lines for 47 days. Enemy casualties classified. 3 CIA analysts and 1 State Department official owe their lives to actions taken. Morrison suffered severe torture during mission. Presidential Unit Citation awarded in closed ceremony. The list went on. And on, and on. Kensington's face had gone from red to white. His hands shook so badly he nearly dropped the tablet. "How many confirmed kills?" he heard himself ask, the words coming out strangled. Colonel Hayes's voice was hollow. "The file stops counting at 263. That was in 1988. He continued active operations until 1994. Why?" Kensington had to clear his throat. "Why is he working as a janitor?" "Sir, perhaps we should discuss this in—" "No." Frank's voice cut through, still quiet but with unmistakable command. He asked. He deserves an answer. The elderly janitor, no, the legendary operator, straightened fully for the first time. The stoop was gone. The uncertain shuffle vanished. What stood before them now was a man who had walked through hell so many times that he'd worn a path. "I work as a janitor, General, because after I was done being Iron Raven, after I'd killed more men than you've commanded, after I'd bled in 7 countries whose names I still can't speak, I wanted to do something simple, something clean." His voice carried no anger, only a profound weariness. "I wanted to mop floors and empty trash and go home at night without wondering if I'd have to kill someone before sunrise." The Master Sergeant had tears streaming down his face. "Sir, I was Force Recon, Vietnam, 72. We heard stories about you. They said you weren't real. They said you were a ghost story they told new guys to keep them sharp." Frank's expression softened slightly. "I was real, Sergeant. Too real." Kensington stood frozen, every word he'd spoken in the last 10 minutes replaying in his head like a nightmare he couldn't escape. His entire career, every medal, every commendation, it all seemed suddenly insignificant standing before this man. Kensington's voice failed him. The terminal remained silent. Somewhere behind them, a phone chimed. Someone coughed, but all eyes stayed fixed on the confrontation. "General." Colonel Hayes stepped forward, her voice professional but strained. "Sir, I have Admiral Crawford on secure line. He's asking for you." Kensington took the phone with numb fingers. He could hear his own heartbeat in his ears. "Kensington." Admiral James Crawford's voice was ice. "Tell me you did not just publicly humiliate Captain Frank Morrison." "Sir, I didn't know." "You didn't know because you didn't ask. You didn't show basic human decency. Do you have any concept of what that man has sacrificed? What he's done for this country?" Crawford's voice rose. "Morrison has more Congressional Medals of Honor recommendations than you have years in service. 3 presidents have personally thanked him in ceremonies so classified they don't officially exist. He's had more bones broken in service to this nation than most soldiers have bones in their body." "Sir, I'm not finished." The Admiral's roar carried through the phone, audible to everyone nearby. "Morrison retired with full honors and a pension that would let him live anywhere in the world. He chooses to work as a janitor because that's the kind of man he is. Humble, dedicated, invisible. The exact opposite of whatever the hell you think you are." Kensington felt his legs going weak. "What? What do you want me to do?" "I want you to apologize, publicly, right now. And then I want you to seriously reconsider whether you're fit to wear that uniform." The phone went dead. Kensington turned back to Frank. The old man had returned to his cart, his hands resting on the handle, waiting patiently. The crowd of onlookers had swelled to over 100 people. Phones pointed from every direction. "Captain Morrison," Kensington began, his voice cracking. I am so profoundly sorry. What I said was inexcusable. I had no right to—" "You had every right," Frank interrupted gently. "You're a general. I'm a janitor. That's how it looks. That's how it should look." "No, sir, it shouldn't." Tears were streaming down Kensington's face now, his carefully constructed authority crumbling. "You are a hero. A real hero. And I'm just a man who's commanded from offices and conference rooms. I've never done what you did. I've never even come close." Frank studied him for a long moment. Then, slowly, he extended his right hand, the one with scars running across the knuckles, the one missing half of its ring finger. "We all serve in different ways, General," he said quietly. "You lead thousands. You make decisions that affect millions. That matters too. Don't discount it. Kensington took the hand, shaking it with both of his own, holding on like it was the only solid thing in a tilting world. "I'll never forget this," Kensington whispered. "Never." "Good." Frank's lips quirked in the ghost of a smile. "Then maybe next time you see someone in a uniform that isn't military, a janitor, a security guard, a cashier, you'll remember that you don't know their story. You don't know what they've done or who they've been." He released Kensington's hand and turned back to his cart. The crowd began to part, creating a path. "Captain Morrison," Colonel Hayes called out. "Sir, if there's anything at all, that we can do for you..." Frank paused and looked back. For just a moment, the weight of decades seemed to lift from his shoulders. "There is one thing, Colonel." "Name it, sir." "The spill at Gate 42. Someone needs to finish cleaning it before a passenger slips." He smiled, a real smile this time. "Safety hazard." Then he pushed his cart forward, the wheels squeaking softly against the terminal floor. The crowd remained parted, silent, watching him pass. Several active duty soldiers and veterans in the terminal stood at attention, saluting as he went by. Frank didn't return the salutes. He hadn't earned them as a janitor, only as Iron Raven. But he nodded respectfully to each one. The master sergeant watched him disappear around a corner, then turned to Kensington. "Sir, for what it's worth, I think you just learned the most important lesson of your career." Kensington nodded, unable to speak. His entourage stood silent behind him, every one of them fundamentally changed by what they'd witnessed. Colonel Hayes was already on her phone, issuing quiet orders. "I want Morrison's service record updated immediately. Full recognition, including declassifying what we can. And I want a formal commendation prepared for..." "No." The master sergeant shook his head. "Ma'am, respectfully, he doesn't want that. Men like Morrison, they did what they did because it needed doing, not for recognition. The best way to honor him is to let him be exactly what he chose to be." Hayes lowered her phone slowly, understanding dawning on her face. "A janitor. The best damn janitor in the airport," the master sergeant confirmed. Kensington finally found his voice. "What happens now?" "Now?" Colonel Hayes looked at him with something between pity and disappointment. "Now you board your flight, you attend your meetings, and you remember this day every single time you're tempted to judge someone based on their uniform or their appearance." She paused. "And you pray that this video doesn't go viral, though I suspect it's already too late for that." She was right. Within an hour, the video had 3 million views. By evening, it would reach 30 million. The comments section exploded with veterans sharing their own stories of humble heroes. The retired colonel working at Home Depot, the former ranger driving a city bus, the Navy SEAL teaching high school. But in Terminal C of Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, life slowly returned to normal. Passengers resumed their journeys. Security returned to their posts. And somewhere near Gate 42, an elderly janitor in a faded gray uniform finished mopping up a spill, ensuring that no one would slip and fall on his watch. Because that's what Iron Raven did. He protected people. Even now. Even always. If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe to Stories of Valor. But before you go, I need you to do something. In the comments below, type the 2 words, Iron Raven, if you watched until the end. Let's see how many of you stuck around to honor Frank's story. And tell me, do you know someone like Frank? Someone whose past you discovered by accident? Someone who turned out to be so much more than they appeared? Share their story below. These tales of quiet heroes deserve to be told, and your engagement helps this small channel continue bringing them to light. Drop a like, subscribe, and type Iron Raven in the comments right now. Let's show respect to all the Franks out there, still serving in their own way.